Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to an airbrushing step-by-step. This one's for the beginners, so let's take a look at the products we're using in today's video. Right guys, we are ready to go. I've just sort of run you through the stages that I've got to now, because I did these off camera. Now I've projected the image up and penciled round it. This is the image here you can take a screenshot from and give it a go. So I've projected it and penciled it out, and then I've laid a piece of Pro Mask over the top, and then I've cut round the skeleton just to separate the background from the skeleton. And on the rib cage, where you see the background colour in between the ribs, I've just cut them little sections out, and it's all in Pro Mask at the minute. So you could start by doing the background if you wanted, or you could do the skeleton if you wanted. We're going to do the skeleton first, so I'm going to peel out all the centre pieces and leave the background masked up, and then we'll move on and I'll run you through the colours. Right guys, some of the colours that I've picked, I've basically zoomed in on this image here and just had a look. And I've gone for a fair blush out of the Dread Effects Custom Skin to do bits just sort of round here and bits on the hands, just a light pass. We've got a dark sort of purple. We've got the background colour. Another purple. We've got a black. We've got a blue. And I can just bounce from them sort of colours and just drop this in. I'm not mirror matching colours across the board. I've just picked some that look sort of roughly to the picture. And I'm just going to paint it in my sort of tones. So they'll be slightly different in colour, but we'll get it down and we'll place the pieces sort of where they go and do the shading where it needs to be. So we'll move in and crack on. Right, so we've got fair blush in first, and we're going to just drop a bit where it looks like it needs to go. Just going nice and light. I'm just going really, really light on this. I've thinned this out. This is an ink, and I've knocked it back with ISO on this. We're running 20 on the airline. Beauty of the Mobius, you can dial it in here. It's lovely to use with the sort of Mac valve on the body, because you can just dial it in as you go along. I'm just going to drop this colour in. Like that. A little bit on there. And you're just going around, just putting that colour in very lightly. Like that. To the skull. Just going to drop a tone in here. Like that. Right, I'm going to keep that little bit of fair blush in there. Just going to see how this looks. Not like a purple now. Just going to go in with this purple. So my colours aren't mirror matched, but just going to tone it. I'll add some more colour to this. I'm just going to pass in. Just give that a straight edge here. One down here. And a little pass down that arm. Like that. A bit shaky today on the line work because the studio is freezing cold. Let's grab a shield. Hello. Knock out some of these pencil lines I don't want. So this is like the first pass of colour, so we're going to go a little bit more on this. Back into that fair blush. Say any colour you want. Mine's got more sort of purpleness to it. It doesn't matter. Go for another colour now. Start to darken bits up now. Warming this right up. Like that. Get a shield. A little bit of this colour in here. A little bit around the teeth. Bits on the ribs. Alright. Right, we're just going in now with a Payne's Grey, and we're just dropping a little bit just to blend this in. Just do a little bit round there, like that. Drop a little bit around here. A little line here. Just grab another shield. Just start to move in on these teeth. Darken that out under there. Just line these out. Cool, very shaky. It's got crooked teeth. back bit. Into the shield. Cut that in a little bit too sharp there on that bit, but it doesn't matter. You just guide it around. Just make it a little bit sharper. Like that. That'll do. Right, we'll drop a little bit of this blue on here. Line here. Like that. That'll do for the first pass of that bit. I'm just going to sharpen this up, make this a little bit more sharper here. like that. Just going to punch a bit of highlight out here. Teeth. What we can do is we can get a white pencil and just pop a few bits out. That'll do. Go for a black. Darken some of these bits out here. Just line the teeth out a bit. Right, I'm going to drop onto a little bit of the blush. Get it pulled through. little bit more colour in. Like that. Right, I dropped a little bit of blue, bright blue on some of the little bits, as you can see. Just going to drop in on these eyes now. Move them centres. Like that. Now we've got like a, it looks like a brownie. Now I'm going to go with this. Just drop a little bit in here. A little bit on here as well. And then we're just going to go in with a black. Just go around where the highlight is. Grab another shield. Just fill that in and just dust over this. Like that. A little bit darker on that. This one's the same, it's just like a pass on there. Like that. Just over that. Don't worry about the highlights, you can pop them out with a pen. Like that. Right, we can now really want to put the other mask on, and then we can take these pieces out. Sharpen them up. So I'll get the other piece of mask, we'll drop the mask on round here and we can get the rest of the eyes finished. So I've loosely put the mask on, you can see that, and then we can pull out hopefully these bits like that. If we can get it. Like that. And we can go in with a like a black and just fade that round. Sort of going darker to this edge here, just lightening it up as we go round. Like that. Now we can remove that piece. You see that little shift where it's slightly missed? Doesn't matter. Remove them bits. Like that. Back in. Shield. Create some shadowing underneath this now. Really could do with that bit being masked. For this bit. Get the mask again. And get it as close as you can. That'll do. Just going to drop a little bit of this round here. This black spraying horrendous. Grainy. Not the best. Right, let's get rid of that. We've got a little bit of colour in that as well. Just want a little bit of colour. Round here. Need a decent black. Clean this brush out. Move that out of the way. Stick that up there. Right. And we'll mix this black up. Right, we need some purple. Get rid of that black. That'll do for the eyes. A little bit of purple left. Darken that with a bit of purple. In here. Rolling that out a bit. And a bit more purple. Around there. A little bit in there. Like that. Right, I'm going back in with a Payne's grey, and I'm going to just darken out now some of these bits. Few bits. Like that, just a few darker bits. then we can just go in and highlight a few bits. That'll do for that bit. Right, we've got the cap to have a go at. I'm just going to do that. Freehand. Let's have a look. Just going to go with my own colours on that and just blast the cap in. A little bit on the just going to do this rough. I need to stand for this really, seat's too low. Keep dusting it in, building it up. It's got the logo on the hat. That's okay. Outline on this. Do some little stitching in the cap, just add a little bit extra. Okay. Right, we've got it to there. We're going to put the masking back on and then put the background in. So grab the hand. You just got to sort of try and level it up as best as you can. Overshoot, but just try and level it up the best you can. That'll do. And look at this bit we've got here. That's about there. Yeah, it's about there. Right, pieces out. Like that. The cap. Something around there. Right, we've got that bit on. We're going to do a bit of background, so we'll do a bit of this blue. Let's just pull this through. Just going to go a little tint of blue. Around here. Like that. Probably a little bit up there as well. Right, we've got that. And we go for the next colour, background colour now. just found another bit of masking that needs to come off. Right, background colour. Make sure that's down. Lovely brush to paint with. Trigger's nice and soft, what I like. Mac valve to the front, which really does help. So you can dial your air pressure in. I'm just going to darken this mix up now. Run some air over that and turn that up a bit. Now when you pull your masking away, you are going to get bits where it's where you've probably missed. Well, that seems alright. The nose to put in is wanting to pull the paper. It's very sticky. After a while it gets very sticky if it slightly warms up. Right, we've got to drop the nose in. Get some shields ready. Just going to do this freehand. Right guys, I'm going to run through some tips. We got it finished, came out really well. I'm going to go through some bits, give you some tips to sort of take away with this project, just to keep in your mind if you're picking up some of these bits. Now we'll move over to paint pens. You've seen in the video I use a Posca. You can use Posca on a 07 white. They get the job done. We used it for the highlights. You've probably seen me in the videos where I've dotted a bit and wiped it. The reason why I wipe it and blend it, because when the Posca dries, they do dry a little bit glossy. If you're using FW inks, they dry down very matte. So the next best option for your white highlight that you want to blend and lay down matte is to buy the Daler Rowney FW mixed media markers. 07 again, like the Posca, it's a very fine point, but you can fill these up with your own ink. So you can use FW white ink. You know it's going to dry down matte, so it doesn't look out of place when you look down at your artwork, or if you're displaying it, something looks a little bit glossy and it looks odd. It blends all the way through. So the Posca will look a little bit shiny. The light on this isn't doing this justice because it's basically to paint it, so I sit in front of it for maximum light. When you look at it at a camera, it'll probably look a little bit glary and punchy white here, a bit bright, because the light's bang above. But using the Posca, I can see there where it's punching it a little bit much. Just need to fill this up, and that's the beauty of these. You can fill these up. These ones you can't on the 07. Probably a video on YouTube where someone stripped and said, yes, you can fill it up. It's easier to fill up one of these. When you get these, they're clear, so you can see through them. You get a shaker in the bottom, and you get a little measuring gauge at the side, which is really handy. Only thing I'd say get as a tip, get yourself a pipette, because these ones are better than the FW ones with the glass pipette. Just get some of the plastic ones, and you can get it literally inside the pen and then lower it down inside and then release your paint. A lot easier with these. And then ISO it, or put your FW flow improver into it, and you'll get some great results for your highlights, and it won't gloss out or gloss your picture out. So there's a little tip on that. The next thing that I used is you see me use a Faber-Castell pencil. These are made in Germany, really good. You can get three types of these. You can get an ink eraser. I have got one, which is a hard point white. So if you're working on illustration paper with FW straight out the bottle, you'll be able to nib back with the ink eraser. When you're coming back with the reducers, their reducer, you can nib it out with all three, the soft, the medium and the ink one. When you're working with ISO on paper, you'll find you spray it, if you're working real thin mixes, it flashes off quick. It's basically you're working with a solvent paint at the end of the day. So extractor, top and bottom, or a well ventilated room. It doesn't give out a lot of overspray because you're going to be working low pressure. You're going to be dialing your pressure down, so you're not going to get a lot of overspray. But working with that mix, it flashes out nice, fast, atomizes loads better than running the normal ink straight into the brush, even though you can. Thinning it right out, it goes a long way. So you get some real nice, you can achieve real nice soft atomization and transitions with it. Thinning it out with ISO, flashes down nice, and you can erase as well. Very, very lightly you can take out and just punch some little highlights out by erasing on this paper, which was really good because this is a cheap mixed media pad. If you're in the UK, nip yourself into the range and pick up some of the mixed media 300 GSM. It's on a spline at the top, so you'd have to, perforated splines, you'd have to pull it away. What I do is I just trim it scalpel and just trim the serrated edge off and then level it up, aluminium ruler, and just chop it to size. And this was a chopped down piece, but it works really well with that paint that I'm using, either the Dread FX Custom Skin or FW inks. Just works really well on that. Really does. You don't get sort of issues of it sort of bleeding out unless it's really thin and your pressure's a little bit too high. You'll just spider it slightly, but it tends to flash out quick, so the spider web doesn't go far, and you can cover bits up if you do get that. But it's just dialing it in. So that's a bit on the pencil erasing. You can do it using the inks, thinning it down. The Pro Mask that you see me use in this video, I'd say it's the best masking film that I've used when it comes to airbrushing for the ease of it. Working on paper, minimum, I would say what that is, 300 GSM, especially if you're putting a vinyl, because this is a like soft vinyl masking, and the sticky, when it gets warm, can get sticky, especially if you're sort of masked out an area and you're leaning on it, which you're going to be leaning on it for right in tiny detail, and you're leaning on this piece, so you're warming it up, or you're leaning here and you're warming that piece up. It's going to make the adhesion more. And paper is porous, and that glue off the back of the Pro Mask will stick. So if you do get that, just peel it really, really carefully and slowly, and it will come off. But a little tip for you with the Pro Mask as well is save your silicone paper. So if you've cut a piece of Pro Mask this size and you've placed your Pro Mask on, and then you're going to be cutting out on top of the paper to cut around the skull, keep that silicone paper and pin it to the side of your easel. And then when it comes to you painting this and you're taking the pieces out, just put it onto your silicone paper, and it's a lot easier to take off this and then reuse it and then place it back on this. Because most people will apply the vinyl, the masking, and then throw the silicone paper away. And it's like, no, it's a good product to place your, whether it's application tape or mask or vinyl, just put it back onto the silicone paper, and then you can lift it off with a scalpel, especially with intricate pieces, because you end up pulling them off and they drop down, and it's like, and then you're trying to cut another piece because it's like embedded itself into the carpet, and it's, oh, I've got to cut another piece now. That's the beauty of having that at the side. You can just place it on there and it'll stay there, won't fall off, but it's easy to take it off. So that's a tip for the Pro Mask. The Caran d'Ache pencils that we used are well worth getting, guys. They're expensive, but they're really, really versatile. You can do a lot with these, you really can, because they're water-based. When you use them with the FW, you can, if you're doing a portrait and you've got like a brunette and you've got to do the eyelashes, and it's a small piece, say it's on A4, and you've got to get your paint, either your dark brown, or if you're doing black eye makeup, you've got to get your black ink or whatever it is dialed in so it sprays down to 1mm of fine, say 3mm lashes on a portrait, and you're doing a lot of them on the airbrush, so you literally tiny small 3mm dagger strokes, clean, nice and visible. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to get with black paint unless you really thin it out or you use a solvent to get it to really flow perfect. Just pick up a Caran d'Ache pencil, sharpen it, and you can get perfect eyelashes that don't gloss out like she's got loads of eye makeup on. They lay down matte and it matches the paint, so it's like win-win. So you can get your real fine hair textures because you get some great colours in them, and you've got your white as well. So if you want to do some little pinpoint highlights, or do a highlight and then blend it because they're watercolour, you can wet them up if you need to. Cotton bud, very, very slightly damp cotton bud, just dry it slightly out, and you can blend these pencils. So that's another good thing with them. And you can crush the leads down, dilute it, grind it up, and you can make a Caran d'Ache black which sprays amazingly well and dries down matte. So you can use them that way as well. So they spray brilliantly. So great pencils, well worth the expense that they are, because they're not cheap. They're not a cheap pack of pencils when you think we were all at school buying a pack of pencils. It was like, oh, a couple of quid. They're probably getting on like, they go up to like £150 they do for like a full-on box set, probably more. But I think the small ones, I'll leave a link in the description. The small tins, anything from I think £24 or £34 for a set, but well worth it. Absolutely well worth the spend, really is. So that was them. Trying to think of what else. Cleaner, I'm using my one. I've been testing it. Been running with this cleaner for about, it's probably getting on a year. And it works great with the FW. Few drops in your brush, cotton bud. You're not sitting there stirring it for ages to get the paint off the side of the cup. You put it in, give it a quick stir, and it's loosened all the paint out. Quick chuck through of that, couple of drops, blast through, you're good to go. Now I found with that as well, if there was a little bit of cleaner where I've done like 2 or 3 drops and gone blast and not completely cleared the brush out, there's a little bit of cleaner down the front. If I chuck FW or the custom skin in afterwards and then go spray and then straight in, I've had no issues that way where it's contaminated with the cleaner and gone all funny. It dilutes it nice, and you can still spray if you've got a bit left in the brush and you've intermixed a bit of paint. You can still get a good, doesn't do anything to the paint sort of thing, it just literally dilutes it and loosens it off whatever it's sort of congealed to, so it doesn't matter when you spray it. So yeah, brush good, Pro Mask works really well. The knife I use for the Pro Mask is this one here. These are brilliant, guys, these are. I was Swan Morton, these are still good blades, the Swan Morton scalpels. There is always a time for a Swan Morton, always. If you're cutting aluminium, because you can with one of these, not a problem, they're great because you can press down. You can get a bit of force down with it when you're cutting with a ruler. So you can get a bit of force down. Good blades, great for doing vinyl work, sign industry, that's where I came with the Swan Morton. What you'll find is cutting intricate pieces, like going round tight curves with these, can feel a little bit alien because it's flat. And you're sort of like, you can do it, but it's a little bit fiddlier with them. If you use these ones, they're rounded and they're grippy to the top. And the blades, I think, are better in these than Swan Morton blades. They really are, they're sharper. And to more of a point on this. So with the weight of this, it's quite heavy to the front because it's a brass with a metal clamp. Then it's like rubber, and you undo and take the blades out by undoing the body, and it loosens the chuck that clamps the blade. So easy to change, but comfortable to go around intricate pieces with. Cuts through the Pro Mask really nice. You'll find with these, when you touch the Pro Mask, you hardly have to press. It's like, you literally just, I was hardly pressing down on that. I'm at the back and just lay it on the top like that. Oh, this is a blunt blade as well. I've had this blade in for quite some time, but it cuts down really, really well. And I've not even gone into the actual silicone paper at all. There's no gouges in the silicone paper. So really good blades to cut with, these are. They really are with the Pro Mask. And good for going around intricate shapes. Just find it a little bit easier with that than using a Swan Morton. But as I say, there's always a time for one of them. I usually cut the papers down with these, aluminium ruler, and just chop the paper up to the size of 300 GSM because it's quite thick. You just use the Swan, go down nice. You can guide with your pinky on the table and just slice with these. They're really good. So there's my tips for you on the bits that you've seen use. It all came together and we achieved it step by step. So hopefully if you're having a go at this, just take your time, take it nice and light, follow them steps and you'll achieve it. It's like easy when you go about it a certain way and use the right products sort of thing and the right paint and setting things up, and you get better at what you do because everything's flowing and is easy. You're not struggling, holding a shield, trying to get the paint out the front of the brush because it's too thick. When you use them mixes, you just go up and move around, and it just all comes together. That's what it's about. It's just years and years of doing that, but the products that go with you along the way, get the right ones. It just makes your life easier when it comes to getting it out the front of the brush. It really does. So thanks for watching, and I will see you lot in the next step by step. Cheers.